Okay,
do the intro.
Okay, welcome. Learning Chromebooks. This is the 18th of February, 2021, and we have 55 people in the meeting with us. I'd like to introduce my partner, Hewie Poplock. I think everybody knows Hewie. I'm Ron Brown, and both Hewie and I are doing this Learning Chromebooks monthly, and Bob's in. Bob, wave to everybody. He's our security guy. If you have, hopefully you all paid your money, or Bob's going to be collecting from you. I guess we're not charging. Is this free, Hewie?
Yeah, it's nobody's paying my way. I know that for sure.
Oh my gosh. Wow, what a deal. Anyway, we're here to talk about Chromebooks. We have a big show for you today. We'll be doing this on a monthly basis, so please keep in touch. If you go over to Tech for Senior and sign up for the our newsletter, we'll have lots of information coming out. Otherwise, we don't know who you are or how to get a hold of you. We do have your address, though, in our admission for this, so that you only need to register once. And each month we will be sending you out a reminder, so you don't need to re-register. Once you're registered once, you're fine, and we will keep the shows coming. Now today, Hugh and I had a long talk 2 or 3 weeks ago to decide what we're going to talk about today. We have sort of two themes for you. There will be people who are here who are experienced users. Maybe some just want to get to know their Chromebook a bit better. So I have made a short video on 8 tips to get better use out of your Chromebook, and I think you'll find it very interesting. There's some new tips that you will not have seen before, so we're going to play that first. The second thing is, of course, this is the year of the Chromebook, and you're going to find lots and lots of models coming out, lots of new machines, all sorts of things. So Hewie sort of put together a presentation on features and what you might consider if you're considering upgrading your Chromebook or purchasing a Chromebook. So we thought there would be something for everybody, those of you who are interested in learning more about your Chromebook, and also people who maybe just like Anne-Marie, who's sort of thinking about it and maybe isn't quite sure what she wants to do. So that's what we're going to do. And so we better get on, because we have a very full packed show. Now the presentations will go for about an hour, and so Hugh and I will stick around afterwards for the Q&A session. We'll have a Q&A afterwards, so if you have any questions, then that's where we'll go. Is that okay with you, Huey? Is that all right?
That sounds like a plan.
Sound like a plan? All right, then I'm going to mute everybody and share my screen, and we'll get on with it. Is that okay?
Go for it.
Okay, we will mute everybody, and I'll share my screen. We'll share the sound.
Chromebook tips for Chrome OS 88. Let's get started. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. Today, with Chrome OS 88, there's a new feature. You can now scan with your Chromebook. This is a real cool feature, so I'm rushing out this video. It's a short little video on how to use your Chromebook as a scanner. Now you know the routine. If you like the video, please click the like, and if you want to support the channel, please subscribe. Now let's get on with this short tutorial on how to use your Chromebook as a scanner.
All right, I'd like you to go to your Chrome browser, and in the search bar, I want you to type in Chrome://flags.
I'm just going to pause it for a minute. I forgot to mention to everybody is that there's a lot of information going to happen today, and my advice to everyone would be is sit back, have a cup of coffee or whatever you're going to drink today, and enjoy the show. Don't try and follow along with your Chromebook, and we're taping this and you'll have all this information. So it's too much information for you to follow along. So just sit back and watch it. You can watch the replay and we'll have it all for you. Okay, we'll keep going.
Now your menu will look a little bit different since I have some experimental features enabled. Mine looks a bit different than yours, but in the top search bar here, I want you to type in scanning, and when you do that, you will see that it comes up with a scanning feature, and I want mine, of course, is enabled. Yours will be disabled, so I want you to enable this. Just click on enabled, and then you'll be prompted to restart your computer. Now that your computer has restarted, I want you to find a new app that is being placed on your Chromebook. And let's have a look for this. I can't see it in my first page, but when I go to my second page, here is the scanning app that is being placed on your computer. Now we are going to right-click on this and pin it to the shelf. Okay, let's open the scanning app up on the shelf. As you'll see now, it is in the bottom right-hand corner of our shelf, and we'll come down now and open the app up. So we'll bring the cursor down, and we're going to open the app up. So when we open the app, you'll see that it has defaulted to the printer I have connected to my Chromebook. This is an HP 4520. Now you see what our options are, and I can scan and save my file as a JPEG, PNG, or PDF. We'll click More Settings, and we can do this in color, we can do it as a letter, and we can also set our resolution. Not sure why PDF wasn't supported. This may be the type of file that I've chosen, but I'm going to leave it as a PNG, and I'm going to click Scan. Now it is finished. I'm going to click Done, and we'll X out of there. Now we're going to come down to the Files menu, and we're going to come to My Files, and here is the file that we just scanned. I'm going to click on the file, and here is the receipt we scanned of my oven repair this morning.
So what I've showed you in this short video is a new feature in Chrome OS 88. It is in the experimental side and you have to enable it, but it's such a cool feature. Chrome OS now has its own scanning app that can connect to any printer you have connected to your Chromebook. So now you can use your printer as a scanner, but this is generic to the Chrome operating system, so it works on all printers connected to your Chromebook. That is so cool. Well, it's Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. Hopefully you've enjoyed this little video. Enjoy your Chromebook. All right, let me show you a new feature on how to add Google Photos as a screensaver. All right, here we have my Chromebook. We're going to come down to the Settings menu. Let's come up to Settings. We're going to click Settings. Now we're going to come over to Personalization. Click on Personalization. Here we are at Personalization. What we're going to do is, this is change the picture. This is where you wanted, if you wanted to change the picture of your device, this is where you can do it. But we're going to actually, and this is where we can change the wallpaper. If you wanted to add a different wallpaper, you can certainly change it here. But the new feature is the screensaver. And this is what you'll find if you look there. Let's click on Screensaver. You'll see my screensaver is on, and you have the choice. So we turn our screensaver on or off. This is now back on, and I've selected mine to go to Google Photos. You have a choice of whether you can choose an art gallery or you can choose Google Photos. So I've chosen Google Photos. If we come along to the right, You can see it takes us to Google Photos, and now we have all our photo albums that we can choose. I've chosen grandchildren. And that's about it. You can choose an art gallery if you want, so you can have some pictures come up. Also here you can choose whether you want your weather as Fahrenheit or Celsius. Again, the screensaver background is a new feature added in this version of Chrome OS. Let's look at a new accessibility feature. This is where you can actually change the color of your cursor now. You've always been able to change the size and put the little ring around it, but now you can actually color it. Let me show you how to do it. All right, let's come down to the shelf. Let's bring the cursor down to the shelf. We're going to come along to the right, and let's open up our settings menu. Let's come up to settings. And now we're going to scroll down. This time we're going to be scrolling down to the accessibility features area. So we're going to come down, and we're going to go to advanced. So we click the little advanced button, and now we're going to come down again till we come to accessibility. Let's click on accessibility. And we're going to manage accessibility features. We're going to bring this up. Now we've got a lot here to look at, but we're going to come down now, and we're going to come to the mouse and touchpad. Here we are. Now there's a lot of settings here, but the first thing we're going to do is we can change, this is where we change the size of the cursor of the mouse. And we can slide this, as you watch the cursor of the mouse, it will get bigger and smaller depending how I slide this along. This is the new feature where we now can change the color. Let's turn it to red. Now we have a red mouse. Pretty cool, eh? And you can change it to any color. Lots of colors here, lots of choices. Now this is where you also can highlight the cursor. You'll see when this is turned on or off, this highlights it for you. This does helps you with presentations to follow the mouse. New feature, changing the color of your cursor. Now last year, Google Photos got a new photo editor. This was really an impressive update. And this week, they announced a new video editor, which you're going to get on your Chromebook. This is really cool. Let me show you how this works. Now, most applications are available on your Chromebook in two forms. The first is the web version, and the second is the Android app. And this is very much the case with Google Photos. Google Photos on your Chromebook can be seen through your web browser or as the Android app. Now, in almost all cases, the Android app is much more functional. And in this case, Google Photos has built in far more features for the Android app because it's meant to be on your cell phone and used there. So the nice thing about the Chromebook is you have the opportunity of using both. On a Windows machine, you would only have the opportunity of using Google Photos through your web browser. But again, on your Chromebook, you have the opportunity for both. And if you look on the shelf, you will see two Google Photos symbols. The right one is a shortcut for the web version of Google Photos. The one on the left, the Google Photos image with the white circle around it, is the Google Photos Android app that you can download from the Play Store. This is the one that has recently been updated to show this new video editor. Now let me show you how this works on my Chromebook. Now you'll see at the bottom we have two icons, we're going to choose the Google Photos Android app. This is the one with the circle. Let me click this, and this brings up my pictures. Now, we're going to come up to the top, and I want to show you a video. You'll see the video because it has the little video symbol here. There we go. And now you're going to see, as I play this video, you're going to see the snow falling. Guess what? Yes, we did. This is a picture of the snow falling in my front yard. This is a short video I made. Now let's come up and we're going to edit the video. So we're going to come up here and we're going to click the little edit button and watch what happens. We go into edit mode, and on the bottom you'll see all those images. Those are all single frame images that make up the video. And as I slide the cursor along, you will be able to see each picture as that makes up the video. You can take any one of those pictures and say capture, and it will make an image from the video for you. And here it is. I made this as an image, and now that is saved as a Google Photos image. Let's go back to the video. We'll bring back the video here. Again, we're playing the video. Let's go up to the edit again. Let's click edit. And let's watch. How many of you have taken a video in portrait mode and really want it in landscape? Look at this. We can turn the video completely around. Now that is very unusual in video editing. It is certainly in photo editing, but that is a real cool feature and not often found as an advanced video editing feature, and that is now available on your Chromebook in Google Photos. Google Photos is releasing parts of the Google Photos editing app as it rolls out around the country. I don't have all the features on the previous slide sequence, so this is what is coming. You'll see we have a video of a dog here, and now you'll see we come back and you see it says video. We're going to click the video, and as we come up to the next feature, yes, you'll be able to crop the video. You'll be able to adjust segments of the video out, and that's through the adjust. We'll also have filters that you can apply.
Now, a new feature in Chrome OS 88 is the Wi-Fi sync. Wi-Fi sync makes it easier for you to access Wi-Fi across multiple Chromebooks. Now, when you enter a Wi-Fi password on one Chromebook, that information is securely and saved to your account, so you can immediately connect to that other network when you sign into another Chromebook. You can now turn this off at any time within settings. Let me show you how this is done. All right, watch the cursor at the bottom right. We're going to come over, and what we're going to do is open up our settings menu. We'll come up and click the settings icon. Now we're going to go over on the left side to the people section, the little people person thing. There on the left side, we're going to click this, and this is going to bring up Sync and Google Services. And that's right here. We're going to click open this, and then we're going to manage what we're going to click on under sync, what you sync. If you see this here, this is the sync. This is manage what you sync. We're going to click the little icon on the right. Now, this is where you can customize what you actually sync amongst different Chromebooks or Chrome accounts. And you'll see there's apps, bookmarks, extensions, history, settings. All these are what you sync. And at the bottom, the new feature that has been added is Wi-Fi networks. And if you leave this checked on, this means it does not matter what Chromebook you are using, you will now be synced into those Wi-Fi accounts without having to re-enter passwords. New feature for Chrome OS 88. I want to demonstrate the split screen feature of your Chromebook. You can access this by using the overview key or having a 3-finger swipe up on your trackpad. You'll see now I'm bringing up the Google Photos app and a News app. So I have 2 apps open on my Chromebook. By hitting the overview key or 3-finger swipe up on the trackpad, you will come to this menu. You'll see on the left side I have Google News. The right side I have Google Photos. So I'm going to create a split screen so we can have both the news and photos up at the same time. Let's see how we do this. I'm going to take and drag along the Google Photos app to the right, and you'll see it snaps to the right side of the screen. I'm then going to take the news view, and I'm going to take this and drag it to the left side of the screen, and it automatically snaps in the remaining area. So now we have 2 equal apps open at the same time. If I want to look at this picture, I can zoom in on that. If I want to use the news service, I can use that. Each app runs independently on each half of the screen. This is the split screen feature available on your Chromebook. New for Chrome OS 88 is quickly controlling your microphone volume. Now you can control the volume of your voice on video calls on a few clicks. The new mic slider lets you immediately control how soft or loud your sound on calls can be. Let me show you how this works. All right, here we have our Chromebook screen again. We're coming down to the right side, and we're going to click open the menu here, and you will see the speaker audio volume control. Click the caret to the right, and now you will see we have microphone input. Now you can slide this back, the slider back and forth, and you'll be able to control the volume of your microphone. Pretty cool in Chrome OS 88, new feature.
In closing, I'd like to show you some programs you can use for screen recording on your Chromebook. The first one is a new experimental part of the Chrome operating system. It's not in Chrome OS 88, but you can turn it on. And it's going to be a screen recording feature that is built into the Chrome operating system. It's really cool, and you can turn it on now and use it. It's a little bit rough around the edges, but if you want to use it, you can do it. I'll show you how it works. The second 2 are commercial programs, free, and you can use those on your Chromebook, and I'll show you which ones those are. All right, let's get on with this, and then we'll wrap this all up.
Okay, here I am at our Chromebook. Again, I'm going to start the Chrome browser, and I want you to type in Chrome://flags. This is going to, as we're doing this in the video here, this will bring us up to our menu we talked about before. In the search parameter at the top, we're going to type in screen capture. By the time you get to screen, even when you're typing in before, it will bring up the screen capture option. And what I want you to do is come over to the right side, and you'll see the menu here, and I want you to enable it. Mine, of course, is enabled. Yours will be, and you just click there in the menu, and you will enable this. Now, when you're finished enabling it, you'll be prompted to restart your Chrome browser. This is what we're going to do now. And when you restart it, you'll have a new menu. You'll see a menu now in the settings area that says screen capture. This is the recording device that you will have, and this is now built into the operating system. When you click that, you'll get a menu like this, which covers the area. You can simply move the area that you want to be recorded. And again, at the bottom, it shows you how big the recording is going to be, and you click the center button to start recording. So now we're going to record a short segment as we come along here. You'll see that I'm just going to click a few things so we get a short recording. I had problems finding the stop button. I had to minimize the Chrome browser to see the stop button in the settings menu. That's a little change they have to make. But anyway, when we come to the download section here on our in our file menu, there is the screen recording. If I play this, we should be able to see the recording we just did. So that's pretty darn cool. It's a quick way of recording your screen. It's built into the operating system, and it will save the file right on your Chromebook so you can play it back or send it to anyone you want.
The two screen recorders that I recommend have a very long track record. The one that I use all the time is called Screencast-O-Matic. There is a free version of that, and you can record up to 15 minutes on the free version, or the paid version, which is only $1 a month, which I think is about $12 a year, is available for you. And it works pretty darn good with your Chromebook. It's actually an app that you add onto your Chromebook, and it will work well for recording. You can also make videos with it. It is a full video editor as well. The other piece of software that I would recommend is called Nimbus Capture. This has been around for a very long time. This is not new, and it actually is a Chrome extension. So it works in your Chrome browser as an extension. Again, it's free, cross-platform because it works within your browser. Works well on a Chromebook. I don't have a lot of experience using it, but it's been around an awful long time, and it's had excellent recommendations. So those are two pieces of software you might consider if you want to use a screen recorder. Chromebook tips for Chrome OS 88. Just remind everyone, be sure and watch Monday's Tech for Seniors. You can get all the information you need about that at www.techforsenior.com. Have a great day and enjoy your Chromebook. Bye now.
All right. Now, if there are any questions about that, we'll wait and hold off until the end when we have our question and answer section. Hewie, are you ready to roll?
I certainly am. Ron tasked me to, let's see. Let me minimize this, and I'll talk about that in a second. Ron tasked me to talk about some of the newer models of Chromebooks, and I got into this, and boy, did I come up with a long section for this. So what I ended up doing there were so many slides, I am putting in the chat box right now, and I'm going to click on it. There is a link. I have all of the slides in SlideShare, so you don't have to quickly jot down all of the models and try to remember everything that I'm going to be telling you. So you'll be able to watch the recording, either the one on my channel, or it'll be included, of course, in the recording of Learning Chromebooks on Ron's channel, probably by tonight or tomorrow. But let me go ahead and start this. Top Chromebooks in early 2021. I'm Hewie Poplock. Chromebooks are snappy, easy to use, and inexpensive computers designed for everyday use and internet-based activities such as browsing, email, text editing, YouTube, Netflix, light gaming, and the likes. Many options start at under $300 these days, and for that kind of money, you'll get a fully functional computer able to handle the activities mentioned above, which makes those inexpensive Chromebooks excellent for kids, students, and pretty much anyone else who needs a simple and affordable computer for basic use. They also last for hours on a charge, start in seconds, and don't slow down as they age. At the same time, those of you that are looking for better made devices, higher quality screens, backlit keyboards, snappier multitasking performance, longer battery life, and other modern features will need to spend a little bit more. and the market offers plenty of options these days, which should cater to even the pickiest of buyers. One more heads up though, before we get to talk about the actual recommendations, I want you to be absolutely sure that a Chromebook is the right pick for you. So make sure you check out my detailed Chromebook buying guide first, Considerations when buying a Chromebook in 2021 on YouTube, and there's the address. There are quite a few competitive Chromebooks selling for under $300 these days, making for excellent Chromebooks for kids, affordable travel companions, or just go-tos for those of you on a limited budget. We review a more detailed list of options that you should consider in this class, and we'll get in depth on our recommendations afterwards. Keep in mind that we've only included the more recent products that are on par with today's requirements in this list. You'll still find other options in stores as well, older Chromebooks, and many of them selling for as less or little as $200. But I'd advise stretching your budgets for one of these if possible, as they are significant upgrades in terms of design, features, and especially the way they perform with everyday use, as these are built on updated hardware platforms. A few terms that you may need to know something about as we talk are these terms, and let's explain them. Watt measures the amount of energy a device uses. Watt hours, or WHR, is the amount of power used over a period of time, 1 hour. 1 watt hour is equal to 1 watt of power used for an hour. TN stands for twisted pneumatic. This is a type of LCD, a form of LED, panel display technology. TN panels are characterized as being the fastest and cheapest among the other main types of display panels. VA, or vertical alignment, and IPS, in-plane switching. As such, they work great for gaming monitors and gaming laptops. However, TN panels also offer the worst viewing angles and color when compared to VA and IPS panels. VA stands for vertical alignment and is a type of LED, which is a form of LCD, panel display technology. VA panels are characterized as having the best contrast and image depth among the other main types of display panels, TN, twisted pneumatic, and IPS, in-plane switching, but also the longest response times. IPS monitors, or in-plane switching monitors, leverage liquid crystals aligned in parallel to produce rich colors. IPS panels are defined by the shifting patterns of their liquid crystals. These monitors were designed to overcome the limitations of TN panels. Giving you an idea of what some of the sizes are and what they contain, you'll see the SD, the 480 SD, 720 by 480. The 720 HD is 1280 by 720, which are what a lot of the Chromebooks are. And then some of them are HD compatible or 1080 compatible, and that would be 1920 by 1080. And of course, if you have a 4K UHD or ultra high definition, it will have 3840 by 2160 in pixels. And to give you another idea, using another one, you got the 4K UHD at 3840 by 2160. You'll have the 1080p HD, which is 1920 by 1080, and then you have your SD or standard data. OLED panels require no backlight, and each individual pixel is extremely energy efficient. LED panels and TVs need a backlight to produce brightness. And something else we're going to talk about is flip or 360 or convertible, and that's what they mean. They can be used as a standard laptop in a tent format with an angle or folded back as a tablet. So those are the 4 different positions that are capable of in the 360 view. So we're going to try to give you the facts about Chromebooks and other devices and software. It's up to you to research them on your own to be sure that it'll work for you. Okay, best budget Chromebooks in 2021, under $300. Here's a list of several of them, comparing what they're made out of. Some are plastic. In fact, most of them are plastic. It looks like only one of them is part metal. And with the price range is under $300. And you can see the screens range from 10.1 inches to 15.6. And what the hardware is and what chipsets are on them, how much they weigh, and then the battery with the watt hours. Specs are definitely important at this level, as even if you're after a basic Chromebook, you'll still want something that you can actually handle basic tasks smoothly. To keep things simple, I'd recommend getting a device with at least an Intel Apollo Lake processor or an AMD MediaTek equivalent at least 4 gigabytes of RAM and through 32 gigabytes of storage, preferably 64 gigabytes or more. Hardware aside, keeping in mind that many of the options in this section are still plastic made clamshell Chromebooks with matte screens and TN panels, non-backlit keyboards, and average build quality. There are some exceptions that are partially made out of metal, include IPS screens or even a touch screen. Now, as far as our actual recommendations go in this segment, there's one option that steps in front of the others, and that's the Lenovo Chromebook Duet. Starting at under $250, this is a metallic, made compact and lightweight tablet with a surprisingly good 16 to 10 FHD and touchscreen with pen support. Furthermore, a keyboard folio is also included by default for laptop use, and the MediaTek hardware platform is capable enough for everyday use and some multitasking. And here's what it would look like. It detaches into a tablet, but it does come with the keyboard. However, keep in mind that the Chromebook Duet is only a 10-inch device and bundles a smaller battery as a result, but it can last for 6+ hours of daily use and 8+ of video. Finally, the Duet is not that easy to find in stock these days, and that's no surprise considering the unmatched value that you're getting here. If you're fine with such small Chromebook, go for it. There's no better alternative in this segment. On the other hand, if you're looking for a device with a larger screen or larger battery, or perhaps prefer the traditional laptop form factor, that would make the computer more convenient to use on the lap. Dell, HP, Lenovo, and especially ASUS offer some inexpensive and ruggedly built options, but most of them with TN screens. Lenovo's Chromebook C340 or the Acer Spin 11 sell for a bit extra, but replace the TN matte panel with convertible 360 degrees IPS touchscreens. As we move up in size, the offer for larger Chromebooks with 14-inch screens starts with the more affordable HP Chromebook 14, the Acer Chromebook C314, or Lenovo Chromebook S330, and goes up to the more portable Asus C423. Finally, both Asus and Acer still offer 15-inch Chromebooks in this price range, if that's what you're after, but you're sacrificing portability for that larger display. Overall, I'd recommend going through the more detailed reviews for each of these if you prefer this sort of a larger format device. But I'd rather advise you to step up to the next price category for better made options with the higher quality screens and faster hardware. The best value Chromebooks in 2021, $300 to $500. You can get better value for your money in this price segment, especially if you're after a well-rounded laptop with a mid-sized 12 to 14-inch display. You're not just getting a bigger and improved screen on these options, but also a more spacious and more comfortable keyboard, a larger battery, extra ports, as well as improved build quality. First off, just as in the previous section, here's a more detailed list of the Chromebooks worth considering in this segment as of right now, and we're getting into more details as we proceed. You'll see here you've got clamshells, convertibles in the price range of $300 to $500. You have various size screens. The hardware is different. The weights can vary by quite a bit. And of course, your battery watt hours will change with the different models. At the more portable end, Samsung Chromebook Plus and especially the Google Pixel Slate stand out of the crowd, both 12-inch convertibles. The Pixel Slate is primarily a tablet, thus great for tablet pen use, but perhaps not as versatile as a laptop. It's excellently crafted, gets a splendid 3:2 touchscreen, as well as competent Intel Core hardware, and a large battery that allows for 10 plus hours of daily use. However, the Pixel Slate will soon be a collector's item. Google announced last year that it's getting out of the tablet game, making the current crop of Pixel Slate tablets the company's last. There are 3 models in the Pixel Slate line, and Google has slashed the prices at the top and the bottom, but they are difficult to find, if any are still available. The Samsung Chromebook Plus version 2, on the other hand, is a 2-in-1 convertible and includes the keyboard by default for $500. It comes with a 16:10 ratio touchscreen with pen support, but is nor as powerful as lightweight as the Slate, so mostly an option for those of you who value this sort of display and form factor over other aspects such as battery life or performance. And even if that's what you're after, something like the more affordable HP Chromebook X360 12 might be better to suit your needs than the Samsung model. With these smaller options out of the way, a recommendation in this price range goes once more towards a Lenovo Chromebook, the excellent Flex 5 13. At $409, manufacturer suggested retail price, without accounting for potential discounts, this laptop punches way above its class and successfully challenges many of the more expensive products. On the top of these, the Core i3 platform is snappy enough for everyday use. The 51 watt-hour battery ensures 10 plus hours of life on a charge, and even if some of you might appreciate more memory and storage space, 4 gigabytes are still enough for most potential buyers on a Chromebook. Bottom line, sure, you can get a more refined Chromebook if you're willing to spend $600 plus, but at roughly $400, there's nothing out there that can match the Flex 5 at this point. Jumping into the 14-inch models, the Acer Chromebook 514, which is a clamshell, and the HP Chrome X360 14, a convertible, are good options in this price segment, and both are more affordable than the Lenovo Flex 5. Metal is entirely used for their construction, and the Acer model offers marginally more powerful specs and a larger battery. You won't be wrong with any of these. Finally, in this class also includes a full-size 15-inch Chromebook with IPS screens, partially metal construction, and large batteries, starting from affordable options such as the convertible Acer Chromebook Spin 15 all the way up to the HP Chromebook 15. I'll also mention that the Asus Chromebook C523 and the Samsung Chromebook 4 Plus 15 inchers which sell for less, but you'll end up with mostly plastic builds and the TN screens with these, so consider spending your money elsewhere. The best premium Chromebooks in 2021 in the $500 to $1,000 range. While most buyers won't spend $600 to $1,000 on a Chromebook, there are actually quite a few excellent devices available in this segment. With these, you're getting uncompromised Chromebook experience with a mix of upgraded builds, displays, and hardware specs over any of the more affordable options. Here are a list of the premium Chromebooks available as of now, and we'll get in depth. For the most part, Acer Chromebook Spin 713 and the Google Pixelbook Go are the best balanced premium Chromebooks you can get these days. The Pixelbook Go is the late 2019 addition to the Pixel family. It doesn't replace the convertible Pixelbook. Instead, it is designed to sell by its side as a traditional clamshell notebook with a 16:9 FHD touchscreen, updated hardware, a lighter magnesium shell, punchy speakers, and improved battery life thanks to the larger battery inside and a more efficient display. It's not a convertible though, and it's built on the efficient Intel Core Y hardware, so not as fast as some of the other options. The Acer Chromebook Spin 13, on the other hand, is a convertible and a true alternative to the original Pixelbook, but with modern specs. It gets a 13.5-inch convertible FHD Plus touchscreen with a 3:2 aspect ratio and a built-in EMR pen, recent Core U hardware, SSD storage, and backlit keyboard starting at around $559. And that's for a no-compromise Core i5 configuration with 8 gigabytes of memory and 128 gigabytes of SSD storage out of the box. Backed up by a 54 watt-hour battery, that creative focus 3:2 display, and fine inputs. In all fairness, though, inputs are one aspect where Acer could further improve this model alongside the audio quality. All of these make the Chromebook Spin 713 one of the best performing Chromebooks out there and an excellent option for heavy users and those interested in running Linux on such a device. Several of the attendees of Tech for Seniors and Learning Chromebooks are using the Chromebook Spin 713 and do recommend them. Now, neither of these two is the ultimate premium Chromebook, a title currently snagged by the Samsung Galaxy Chromebook. This one is a convertible as well with a 13.3-inch 16:9 display, but gets a punchy 4K AMO LED panel with an amazing colors 100% DCI-P3 brightness and black levels. This aside, the build quality and craftsmanship are both A++, with metal used for the entire chassis in a highly compact and portable format that weighs 2.2 pounds. These make the Galaxy Chromebook more comfortable to use in tablet mode in comparison to other Chromebooks, with only the Pixelbook coming close. In fact, the original Pixelbook is the only other Chromebook that can proudly stand next to the Samsung option in terms of design, construction, and even inputs, but is no longer up to date with today's standards when it comes to performance, battery life, screen, and pen support, which the Galaxy aces. Speaking of the Samsung Galaxy Chromebook, is built on the Intel Core U hardware with 8 gigabytes of RAM and fast upgradable NVMe storage. This will never choke or hiccup with everything you throw at it, despite the screen's high 4K resolution. There's no i7 or 16 gigabyte RAM option, but I don't think most will need it anyway. As a side note, this is passively cooled, which is an advantage on one hand, but also causes the laptop to run a fair bit warmer than other Chromebooks with similar specs, which are fan cooled. Okay, so how come isn't the Galaxy Chromebook the top recommended in this class? Well, that's because the battery life isn't great here. It's a 49 watt-hour battery inside, but with the power-hungry display, the battery life is shorter than you'd normally expect from a Chromebook at only 4 to 6 hours on a charge. On top of that, audio quality is also rather mediocre on this Galaxy, which paired with the high price tag pushes it into a third spot behind the other two mentioned earlier. All of these aside, those of you looking for primarily a powerful Chromebook built on Core U hardware as potential alternatives for the Acer Chromebook Spin 713 should also consider the few other 14-inch options available out there, such as the clamshell Acer Chromebook 714 or the convertible Asus Chromebook Flip C436 and the Dell Inspiron 14-inch 2-in-1, each with their own particularities, pros, and quirks. Lastly, those of you who are interested in a full-size 15-inch premium Chromebook should still have a look at the Lenovo Yoga C630 Chromebook. It's a sturdily crafted computer that borrows from the design and build cues of Lenovo's ThinkPad lines, with a 15.6-inch touchscreen available with either an FHD or a UHD panel and EMR pen support. Core U hardware, up to 8 gigabytes of RAM, and 128 gigabytes of eMMC storage, as well as a backlit keyboard and 56 watt-hour battery. The Yoga Chromebook starts at $599, but don't forget that even this, if this is compact and light for 15-inch convertible, with small bezels and a total weight of 4.2 pounds, it's still nowhere near as portable as some of the other options out there. Okay, a wrap up. Chromebooks have come a long way in recent years, and these days the offer is diversified to cater to every need. Many spend the majority of their time online, and for them a Chromebook is a compelling and inexpensive option as a smoother, safer, and simpler alternative to the existing Windows laptops. Now, potential buyers can opt for an affordable option under $300 or get one of the balanced mid-tier laptops with superior builds and screens, snappier performance, long battery life, and still excellent value. The premium options, on the other hand, are a harder sell, but could still make sense for the regular users that are not interested in specific Windows software or games and would rather get a simple and snappy computer with an excellent screen and the build quality and battery life that they wouldn't otherwise get in a similarly priced Windows device. At the end of the day, Chromebooks make for great travel companions, inexpensive laptops for school, and even everyday notebooks for those of you who stick to internet-based activities like browsing, email, multimedia, and so on. They're not for everyone, but as long as you're aware of their strong points and limitations, I'd expect you to end up satisfied with one of these. And that's about it for now. New devices are added as they pop in stores and retiring the obsolete variants. We will check it out for you from time to time for changes. I want to thank ultrabooksreview.com and Andre Gerbea. And wait a minute, hold the phone here. Just in. Samsung announces the Galaxy Chromebook 2 availability and pre-order dates. Just this past weekend, February 14th, it was noted that there was a change to Samsung's Galaxy Chromebook 2 landing page, moving from a notify me message to a reserve now opportunity for consumers. That was a sign that the fire red Chromebook was getting close to launch, but today Samsung is taking the full wraps off the new Galaxy Chromebook 2 and is giving us a pre-order and release date by details for both Samsung.com and Best Buy. Head over to Samsung.com or bestbuy.com, and you can plunk down your $549 or $699 for any of the 4 variations of Samsung's new Chromebook, gray or red Core i3 or Celeron models. Pre-orders will run from February 16th to the 28th, and consumers who pre-order can earn up to a $50 store credit at either Samsung.com or Best Buy when they make their pre-launch purchase. Samsung is also giving us a firm release and availability date this time too, so there's no guessing on when this Chromebook will hit the shelves. On March 1st, the new Samsung Galaxy Chromebook will become fully available, and those who missed the pre-order window will still have an opportunity to earn $30 store credit when they purchase from March 1st to March 14th at both Best Buy and Samsung.com. Again, these are store credits that can be applied to future transactions, not to this particular purchase. This all assumes that there will be enough stock to go around and that on March 1st, the consumers will be available to walk into Best Buy and see this eye-catching Chromebook on display on the shelves for purchase. Now we just need more Chromebook makers to follow suit. There will be many new Chromebooks released throughout the year. We here at Learning Chromebooks will attempt to report and review them, our own reviews or those of other professional reviewers, as they become available. To give you some examples of some of what I talked about, here is the Lenovo Yoga C740 14-inch. Here's the Acer Spin 11 at $296.99. That's a clearance price, normally $329. The Acer Chromebook 713. A lot of times it's on sale. This price is $629. Sometimes I've seen it for anywhere from $50 to $100 off of that, sometimes even more. Here's another picture. Here's a picture of it on sale. It's $459. Not quite the same model, but it's pretty close, and it is the 713 Spin. Here are a couple of the HP Pavilion X360s, 14-inch. One is at $499 and the other is at $799. So you want to look at what the differences are, what the features are, and see where they fit in to what you're looking for. Here's the Lenovo Flex 5 14-inch at $569. Now Costco has the Lenovo Flex 5 13.3-inch 2-in-1 touchscreen Chromebook at $499. And they say it's a member-only item, but if you go to Amazon, that same computer is $435. The Samsung Galaxy Chromebook 2 is the first Chromebook to feature a QLED display, and QLEDs are still very good. Samsung says this one can produce over 1 billion colors. But there's one question I'm waiting on that might make it or break it as far as a recommendation from me goes on this device, and that's the battery life. The Galaxy Chromebook had a number of great features, but it could only last around 4 hours and 20 minutes on a charge. I don't think anyone should buy a $999 Chromebook that can't even last 5 hours, no matter how nice it looks. Heck, I don't think anyone should buy a $700 Chromebook that can't last past 5 hours. There are just way better options. And this is what the Chromebook Galaxy version 2 is going to look like. Well, make sure Samsung has a lot of different models and the names are very similar, so be very careful when you go in to buy. So we try to give you the facts about Chromebooks and other devices and software. It's up to you to research them on your own to be sure that it'll work for you. We don't get reimbursed for any of what we talk about as far as reviews. We don't get review copies of any of these machines, and for the most part, I've not used any of them. I'm only going by what I'm reading in other people's reviews. So please bear that in mind. And when you go to a store, Don't go with money in hand or your credit card to buy a Chromebook. Go in, look at what they have, take your phone with you, take some pictures of the different models, take a picture of the barcode so you can look them up when you get home and compare at home. Because if you do it in the store, you're going to get totally confused at which models have which features, and you're going to buy one and it's not going to have the features you thought were in it. So be very careful. Take your time when you're going to buy a Chromebook or any computer at that matter. So I'm Hewie Poplock. This has been Top Chromebooks in early 2021. Thanks for joining. Whew, a lot of information I threw at you.
It was. Hey, now the one thing I will take issue is that's a fire red Chromebook. It's not quite the orangey color that was on the image there. It is like, who is going to want to drive a gray Mazda Miata? You're going to want a fire red Mazda Miata, right? And that Samsung Chromebook is the sexiest computer I've ever seen, and it is truly fire red. So just a clarification on that.
And the one thing I didn't mention that I ended up buying a Dell, and it was one. If you look at the list of the premium models, it's the one that's in black where all the others have links to it. And Mike Ungerman bought the same model. It's a Dell Inspiron. I'm quite happy with it, except a lot of times in the corners, the touch screen doesn't respond the way I would like. But I've been quite happy with it. However, your presentation on the scanner, I have a Brother printer, and it's either the Chromebook or it's the Brother printer, and I suspect it's the printer. I can't make the scanning work. It doesn't show up as finding it, although I can print to the Brother printer. So on that note, I'll turn it back to you, Ron.
Great. Okay, so we're going to that's our presentation for today. That's the top of the hour now, but we are going to stay online and do a Q&A for you if you have any questions. Now, we have still 58 people in the room. I can't see everybody on the screen. If you look down at the bottom of your screen, you'll see it says on there reactions. If you click on that, it says raise your hand. And if you raise your hand, then what can happen is not only does it put a little hand up, but it brings your screen up to the top so I can see it. Okay. So what I'd like to do is, if you have questions, raise your hand, and we'll answer. We'll acknowledge you, and you can talk. I will tell you that this is, again, it's all being recorded. I know Hewie had a lot of information there. And it's meant that you can go back and use it as a reference. And so you don't have to remember all that, and it'll be certainly out there. Dorothy, let's start with Dorothy. Do you have a question?
Yes, when your Chromebook lifespan expires, what happens?
So when your Chromebook lifespan expires, you will not get updates. In other words, there will not be a secure device. You won't be getting security updates, or it'll still work. It's not going to suddenly die, but again, it becomes insecure. It won't be insecure right overnight, but it's time to look at moving on. You know, you have about 6 years of a life cycle on a Chromebook. If you look at battery technology, I doubt very much whether you're going to have much of a battery life after 6 years. So it's time to probably move on with your machine.
Can you use it for Linux?
Yeah, you could use it for Linux. Sure, Linux works fine on it. Yeah, it'll be, okay. That's a good option if you wanted to put Linux on it. Linux is actually installed on your Chromebook, so yeah, it's available for it. So you could use it for Linux. Sure.
Okay, thanks.
George Bowden.
So the pressing question of the day is LastPass going to classify a Chromebook as a mobile device or a laptop?
You know, that's a very good, so because I'm doing a whole show on this whole issue of the LastPass, right? I mean, it's a big issue, and I don't know, and that's the one thing that the piece of the puzzle I need to know before I finish writing my article. I don't know the answer to that.
Does anybody else have an answer?
I think I'm going to phone LastPass and talk to their support division. I don't know the answer to that.
Let's hope it's a laptop.
You know, I doubt it. I doubt it. And the question really becomes, is that LastPass is an extension in Chrome. So if you're using LastPass as an extension in Chrome, will it be able to tell the difference between the Android mobile sort of you're going to use on a Chromebook versus a Windows machine? And I don't know the answer to that, George. I mean, good question. and one
Ron,
which I'm going to find that out.
Ron, my LastPass works just fine on my Dell Chromebook.
No. But you don't.
Not the question.
People don't understand what. There's a big change in. I think it's March 16th. Is
Right.
that LastPass is making a big change in their terms of service, and it will only work on one platform. So you have your choice. You can use it on a Windows platform. That's fine, but you can't use it on a mobile as well. So it means that unless you pay for it. So the free version will not work, okay? And that's a big change that's occurring. And that's what George is alluding to, I think.
You can use it on a
Okay.
computer or on a mobile.
Right.
Pay for it anyway, so.
Yeah, if you pay for it, it's not an issue, but if it's non-paid, then it is an issue. Chris, go ahead.
Okay, Chris Rosinski here. I have a number of these Chromebooks that are supposed to be the hot tickets, and I can give you some information based on real use of them. The first one was mentioned, the Lenovo Duet, and that's the $200 thing. It's a 16:9 screen, and it's a very bright screen, which is very nice. I won't go into the numbers, but it is very flimsy between the keyboard and the screen. The one thing, if I were to pick another an issue with it, that was it. It really kind of rattles back and forth. So if you buy it, you need to know that's going to happen. Let's see the next one. The Samsung Plus V2. I'm on that right now. That's a very good Chromebook. Has good resolution, has very bright screen. It's in the 350 to 400 ratios. And I was able to find one of these used and warranted for $150. And they're selling for $500 now. So if you look around, there's deals on those. All right. So and the last one was the Spin 13. What I did here in the review was that it has a pen. There's no pen in my and it wasn't advertised in the 713. So you need to look at that and find out whether maybe they're slipping some models out with pens. But my 713 probably is only a few months old now. That's the Spin 713. Now, if there's a problem, the only issue with that, and that's supposed to be one of the hottest ones going, is it is low volume, which means that if people don't turn up their Zoom meetings, I have to run around and try to find a little speaker or something to Bluetooth speaker to make it louder because I can't hear it. Now, just a note about again talking about the brightness. If you have a real good resolution screen and a bright screen, you can, because the contrast density between the characters and the background is so good, you can really tolerate a smaller screen than you thought you could. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. The 713 is another thing wasn't mentioned. It has mil specs, which means it'll take a drop of like 3 feet. And I've dropped it off my table 3 or 4 or 5 times. It just keeps coming back and it keeps running. Let's see. There was one. That is a 3x2 screen. And as opposed to 16:9, people can say, I don't care. Well, if you figure out the screen real estate and the vertical part of it, if you're doing a lot of anything like email or anything that has text going up the screen, if you have 3x2, you really have a 15-inch screen. And that means that my 713 is in the 2-pound category, not in the 4-pound category. And basically, I have a 15-inch screen. And those are my comments based on actual use of these things. Thank you.
Great comments. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks. Those are great comments. I would also remind, there's 2 things I would like to say. Is the first thing is that remember that you can plug an external monitor into any Chromebook. So don't worry about that. If you want to put a 38-inch screen on there, it plugs in and it works just fine. The second thing I would talk about is that most of the apps that you're going to use on a Chromebook are touchy-feely apps. In other words, they're apps that have come from your cell phone. And so it is, I think, important, and this is my personal opinion, when you do buy a Chromebook, that you get one with a touch screen. I think
Absolutely.
you really want to get one with a touch screen. It's now not in Windows. If you buy a Windows machine, I think it's a total waste of time having a touch screen. Nobody uses Windows, in tablet mode, but for sure, the touchy-feely aspect of a Chromebook, I think it is important. And you agree with that, Hewie, don't you?
Yeah, except when I first got my first NUC, I got a 27-inch touch screen with it, and for Windows, and I loved it. And
You
when
did.
it died and I couldn't replace it reasonably, and I went to a straight screen, I'm still sticking my finger up there all the time, and then remembering that it's not a touch screen.
All right.
Once you get used to it on your Chromebook and on your on my iPad and on my phones, when I go on my Windows machine, I want to touch the screen for things to happen.
Chris, did you have something more?
Just a quick comment about touch screens. I've had 3 Chromebooks without touch screens. One just sort of happened. I had a Samsung Chromebook Plus, and the screen works fine, and all of a sudden the touch screen disappeared. And so I had one, and right away I had the same machine without one. And here's the most important thing you miss. When you're working on things, when you're trying to scroll up and down the screen, you got a bunch of stuff going, and the only way you seem to be able to scroll up and down that screen is put your fingers on it and move it up and down. That just happens. And so I would strongly agree with everyone there that you need to have a touch screen, not so much to touch the stuff on the screen, but for motions with your finger when your hands are doing 16 other things and you just need to move that screen.
For sure.
Good point.
And the other thing, Chris and I teach Chromebook classes together. So he and I are always fighting. And I must admit, because I use a mouse and he uses a trackpad. And so, yeah, and he's always giving me the hard time. He has a dead mouse he brings to the class, and he shows everybody this to get them upset so that they won't use a mouse. But so and I must admit, I am using the trackpad more and more and more now. And I agree with Chris now that that's definitely the way you should go. But for sure, that helps when you have a touch screen. Any other comments?
Yeah, I have
James.
one.
Jim Glass, go ahead.
I have a 713 as well, and Bluetooth works really good with my hearing aids because the regular volume, as mentioned, is shitty. So I either use the hearing aid, Bluetooth, or I plug in an external speaker so that I can hear. That's the only really bad failing with the thing.
Okay.
And by the way, speaking of pens, I bought these little add-ons from Amazon with the little foam tip, and it works fine on the touch screen. I do have a question though.
Go ahead.
With the scanners, new scanning feature, what about the software of them? Like I have this Iris Scan, which only works on Windows.
Exactly. And that's the big problem. You see, as you probably know, that cloud printing went away. See, if you go back and you look at 5 or 6 years ago, when Chromebooks came out, they didn't have drivers for all the printers, and it was all, they wanted it to work on all printers, so they came out with cloud printing. Now sort of Chromebooks are mainstream, and you saw all the models and everything you have, is how do you hook them to all your printers? Well, there is no Windows software or print drivers that go into a Chromebook, right? And that's not how they work. You don't have print drivers. It doesn't put a whole bunch of software on there. It doesn't work the same way. So this is the first stage of actually having a generic built into Chrome software that will connect to any printer. And if you have a flatbed, a glass plate on your printer, that you can just put the page on there and use the generic built-in scanning software with your Chromebook. And that gets away from all the other complexity of all these printers that are using all this other software that's for Windows. Does that, Jim, does that answer your question?
Well, if you just have a flatbed scanner or a scanner that's just a scanner, not an all-in-one, do you have any idea whether those would work?
I really don't know. And you know, to be fair about this, remember, this is an experimental feature in Chrome OS 88. You have to turn the feature on. So it's not prime time ready yet. So there isn't a lot of experience with this yet. Now I can tell you that on my printer that I had, it worked bingo the first time for me. I just put the receipt on my printer. I just hit scan, boom, it worked like a charm and dumped it right into my files. Worked perfectly. It worked absolutely perfectly. I had no trouble with it whatsoever. Now that's, you know, that's on a little cheapy HP inkjet printer that I did it on. I don't have any really big experience with that, but the goal here is to have a built-in generic software that will work on all printers.
I have an Epson
I have one other
printer
question.
scanner, and that works. With
So
no
Bob,
problems.
you tried the scanning app and it worked okay on your?
Yes,
Okay.
no
Bill,
problem at all.
Did you try
And
one?
as I mentioned, I tried it with my brother and it doesn't see it in the scanner, but I can print to it on my Chromebook. I also put in the chat, my YouTube channel. I do have a video on using a printer with your Chromebook. It was an update and I'm pretty close to 5,000 views on it just in a month or two that it's been up. So a lot of people, and I'm getting a lot of good comments on it. So if you have some questions on using your printer with the Chromebook, you might want to take a look at that video. And we had one question from
Bill James.
Yes, but I think you
before,
would just
let me finish, just finished what I was saying. And I can't see it, or somebody asked about the end of life. And I have a video up there on that too. So make sure you do see those videos. I'm sorry, Bill, go ahead.
Oh, no problem. I think I was going to ask a question about the printer issue with the Chromebook, but it looks like an update has probably solved it because my printers are now being recognized.
Well, now the other thing that I wanted to, and I did tell those of you who watched the APCUG talk on my printers on last Saturday, one of the things I said that you should be aware of is if you are going to buy a printer for your Chromebook, it is my advice that you buy an HP printer. The compatibility issues are much less with HP printers. And in fact, if you have problems connecting your HP printer, like, you know, Hewie was just mentioning, if you take your HP printer and plug it directly into your Chromebook, it will work on almost 99% of the time. Hewlett-Packard, ever since Chromebooks were built, have included the generic software in their printers to allow you to print to a HP printer. And if you can't get it, what people have trouble now recognizing the printer on the network, and they can't connect it and they get into problems. But if you actually physically plug it in, it will usually work for you.
Yeah, mine were both HPs, but initially it wasn't recognizing them. But I guess an update has caused it to they work now.
Sure.
Great.
Irving, do you have a question?
Yeah, it also had to do with printers. And I perhaps Hewie answered it when he said he has he has something on YouTube, and I'll go have a look at it and maybe I learn something from that. For a while I was using I guess the iCloud and connecting remotely to a printer in my basement, and it was working, but of course now it's not available anymore. So I was looking for another way of doing it. So.
Right. Carol, do you have a question? Carol Folker, did you have a question? No, okay.
Was that me, Ron? I was just going to say, don't panic when your printer doesn't work. You have Google Photos scan. Get your phone out and take a picture of it and be done with it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right, exactly. Good point. Exactly. Yes, but again, the other thing I mentioned in my talk on last Saturday is this, and this is another tip for everyone, is that when I sent people to Best Buy or Costco to buy printers for their Chromebooks, one of the things I always told them was to look on the side of the box and look for that little cloud print image on the side of the box. If it said cloud print, then by and large, it would work with a Chromebook. The problem is that's all going away now, and you won't have, so I don't know how they're going to label the printer boxes, because there's going to be a whole flood of printers come out this year. And I don't know how they're going to label them compatibility with a Chromebook. And that's something that you want to be able to look at and see if they are compatible. And I don't know what the labeling is going to look like.
My Epson is about 3 years old, and as I said, I had zero problems.
Zero problems.
Yep.
Bill, you had your hand up again?
No, I meant to lower it. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
All right.
I think
good.
that's it for the questions, Ron.
Well, I've got one comment, if I might.
Go ahead.
When you told us at the beginning of the question and answers about the bottom of the Zoom bar for the reactions and what have you, those controls do not exist on the Chromebook.
That's
I
correct.
understand that Zoom is working on making more controls available on the Chromebook that exist on the Apple and the PC. But there's a lot of stuff that does not appear there. You cannot test your speaker or your microphone. There's no background. There's no reactions. So you have to take a look and see what you really have, and don't be surprised that it's not there on Chromebook.
Good point, Jim. Thanks so much. Chris?
One more thing. It is possible to run 3 wireless printers in the same room from 2 or 3 different Chromebooks. We're doing it, but I will tell you this, it's not easy. Don't expect to get it going in a hurry. It also is possible to run it because they're all looking for a different Wi-Fi signal. We've had to take all our different Wi-Fi signals, which we have, and put them all on this with the same name, so we don't have to run up to the Chromebook every time. We run a different Chromebook into the printer. So just there are some issues. It's possible. I just want you to know that.
The new Wi-Fi sync feature might work for you, eh?
I don't know. I got it working. I don't want to mess with it.
All right. Well, that's good. Well, what do you think, Hewie? We did it again?
Yeah, we did it again. A lot of good Q&A.
Yeah.
We threw a lot of information. Don't forget the slideshow of mine is on SlideShare. I did put it in the chat notes, in the chat box. Make sure you copy and paste that so you can go to SlideShare and download either any or all of the slides. So the information that I gave you just doesn't slide by you. And of course, look at the video recordings of the meeting too, to get any of the information Ron gave you or I did from this meeting or earlier meetings.
It's all, now you have to remember that the Learning Chromebooks is all online. All the stuff we've talked about for all the last 6 meetings is all there, and it's available. And a lot of times you'll want to go back and you'll want to re-listen to certain segments to learn how to do things, or you want to maybe in 6 months now, you'll want to think about a Chromebook to buy one. And then you can go back and look at Hewie's article on Chromebooks. So it's meant for you to sort of use it as a reference, eh?
Yeah, and Ron and I have to go back and look to see did we talk about that at Learning Chromebooks or Tech for Seniors, or did we even talk about it, or where did we talk about it? So
hey, and I don't want any criticism that we talked about that before, because we're old people and we can't remember everything. So if we repeat something, that's just because we're old, right, Hewie?
Well, that, and we figure you're going to forget it too.
Yeah, you won't remember it anyway. All right, then. Listen, we'll wrap. Do you want to wrap the meeting up then, Hewie?
Yeah, let's go ahead and say our goodbyes to everybody. Thanks for joining. Thank you, Debbie. Debbie's got her hand up and she's shaking her hand. She got, I guess, one final question. Unmute yourself. There you go. No, we're still not
I
hearing
can hear
you.
you.
You're unmuted. No, we're not hearing you,
Can't
Debbie.
hear
I'm
you.
sorry. Yeah.
All right.
And you're unmuted.
All right. Well, we will
Email one of us or put it in the chat box
we'll help you with that.
and
Okay.
we'll get your question. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Goodbye, everyone. See you next month.
Hey, good job.
Bye. Stay safe.